Hello everyone and welcome back to the second part of the Alundra speedrun tutorial. So, starting with this segment, there is going to be a rather short cutscene by entering this screen, which again, we will skip the cutscenes in this game. So, basically you just start here, you lose control, and once the cutscene stops, you're up here. This gives you like a little introduction into what will come up later. Actually much later into the speedrun, which is Mercury. But yeah, for now, we will need to go back, and the villagers have cleared the path to the south that was blocked otherwise. The thing we need to do now is we are going to head back to town. And the first thing you will notice when you're back in town is that Jess's house, the house of your... well, basically your main house, is blocked, so you can't go back inside there, you couldn't save or anything. And it is blocked by your character, by Sybil's mom, and she basically tells you, hey Alundra, Sybil is looking for you, maybe you should go and talk to her, and since we already know that, we can just go to Sybil. Also, my position there was a bit bad. Since we already have the 30 guilder, this is basically like do it whenever. But since we already have the 30 guilder, we can go here, snag this magic elixir, which we will need later. But yeah, as I said, you will pass by the shop so many times, it is really up to you when you want to buy that. But since we grabbed the 30 guilder chest with this tutorial, we can afford it right now already. So we will grab it right now. But yeah, this is another cutscene. There's some text in this cutscene that you have to advance, but we will skip it, and then we can advance. And now we go to Chester's house, because that's where we need to go now. So Chest gives you a bouquet, which you need to put on Alden's grave to pay respect to the death. To the dead miners, and it is needed to go into the next dungeon. So again, if you play this game on a console with fast disk speed enabled, the little item jingle here plays at twice the speed, which saves you roughly 6 seconds per item jingle and up to 5 minutes over the course of the entire run. On top of that, fast disk speed also saves time in loading, but I've already mentioned that. Just so you don't forget, I will mention it again. So you can just sprint on top of that little stone plate right in front of the grave, and Alundra will stop automatically. And now you have like roughly 3 seconds or so to get to this door before it takes this place. It may be a little bit more than 3 seconds. It is very lenient on the Japanese version, a little bit tighter on the US version. So being in last script, you can just go down here already and start this little puzzle sequence, which you start with the middle one and then you're going left, right, left, right. So basically, if you're going by numbers from left to right, it would be 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. Oops, a little bit early there. And since climbing ladders is rather slow, we just jump up there. And now the higher sage here tells you basically that you have to go in the previous room, talk to the sages and pay your respects to them. But since we already did that, we can just talk to him again, tell him, hey, we did that, and then he will unlock the next part of this dungeon. So the next room is going to be a little bit trickier. It's like the first quote-unquote harder thing to execute in this run. It is very consistent, but it requires you some practice to get it down. Essentially what we are going to do is, and I'm going to put a save state here, we're going to talk to this sign. And now if we would talk to the second sign on the right, we would spawn some enemies. One will spawn right here, two in the middle and one over there. So what we want to do is we want to preempt some bombs right there, talk to the second sign, throw this at this guy, and the bombs take care of all the other enemies. As you see to the left there, there's a drop that essentially shows there was an enemy, and I will put a save state here so we can go back and see this again. Just put a bomb. Well, let me actually show you without placing the bombs. Like, one bomb should be roughly here where Alundra stands, the other bomb right about in the center there, and you should hit all enemies with that. Those two chests both contain herbs, and like, they are literally on your way, so you pretty much want to pick up those for safety. Even the world record holder still picks up at least one herb for safety there. So falling down there, just hitting this lever so the platform can go up, and we talk to the statue. So technically this is not needed to do, since you can jump from here over to here with an item carry jump by holding a bomb over your head. But it is very tricky to do, and what you would need to do then is... Oh, I was a little bit slow there. I guess I can show you now what you need to do, because otherwise I would need to go to the left here. But since I was a little bit slow, I need to fall down there. If you got the item carry jump, you can just do that, go here, and you're on the other side. Otherwise you would come from this direction here. Now it's right, left, bottom, top. That's the order of the torches you have to hit them. I was a little bit slow there. You can put this bomb down before it goes away. It goes away by triggering the room, because you lose control over Alundra, so the bomb also goes away. You want to grab the pots as I just did there in order to kill the mummies or the ghouls, and just kill the slimes with your dagger. Unless if you're down here already and you see there is another ghoul alive here, it's usually not worth going back up, picking a pot and killing the ghoul that way. So sprinting into here, we will come to our first rather big sequence break in this game. The first thing we need to do is we need to grab this key right here. And now there will be a little route deviation depending on if you want to do the skip or not, so I will place a save state right here. If you don't want to go for the skip, which I can see why you wouldn't want to do that for your first runs, you needed to go up here, use the key, hit this, hit that, go into here, place it there. And again, I will just show this in case you don't want to do the skip. Which, as I said, for your first runs, it is totally understandable if you didn't want to go for this. So what you want to do is you want to pick up this barrel, and that's why I saved here, because I haven't done this in a while. You jump over there, back with the barrel. That saves a little bit of time, and talking to the statue, you will see the conveyor belts that are there. They will extend. And then you can ride the left conveyor. But if you're going to do the skip, there are two ways in which you can do the skip. You can either use the left conveyor, which is the easy method, or you can use the right conveyor, which is the harder method. For the right conveyor, I will just show you the setup to get to the place where you do the jump. But I'm not going to do it. I'm showing you the easier method for runs. But I will still explain both. So you want to stand... First of all, you want to align yourself in this corner by just notching against both walls once. And then you want to stand on this pixel. You see on the rucksack Alundra carries on his backpack? Like, if you see there, when I paused, or let me actually pause the emulator, that should be easier. Right there. You see on his backpack, there's like this little black line that basically is right above the pillar, the light pillar there. And this little black line is my visual cue for when I stand on the correct pixel, because if Alundra goes down, now the black line is not 0 anymore, so I hope you get which black line I mean. And from there on we're going to do 4 short shoulder dashes, 2 to the left and 2 down. And now we will press ourselves against the right pillar, and now we are on the pixel from where we can do this item carry jump. But yeah, as I said, I will do this from the left conveyor, which from this setup is a little bit faster. You just get to the position again where you see the black line on Alundra's shadow, and then you do 2 short shoulder dashes downwards. Press yourself against this. I'm going to save state here in case I fail this. I want to pick up a bomb and then, yep, I failed this. Failed this again. And there. You basically jump down, and at a certain point you're going to press right. So you go from straight down into diagonal down right. And most of the time, as you just saw, the bomb will just kind of vanish without exploding. But sometimes it happens that you keep the bomb. It depends on where you land on the conveyor belt. And then just throw it and get rid of it. But yeah, on the very edge of this conveyor, we can walk on it. And what you would do if you did the harder strat on the right conveyor, you would jump over to the side and then jump over the conveyors as to where I'm standing now. That's why it is harder to do the right conveyor, because what I can do now from this position is I can just jump to this platform. Also, I should show this because this is important. If you're jumping rather high on this, where is it actually? Right there, you see I zipped upwards and now I'm stuck inside the wall. You can get out of this, but it's a bit tricky, so try to make sure to not do this. And basically now I ride this platform, I go in here, talk to the sign, and I don't have to worry about taking the conveyors again, I just ride the platform back. It is a little bit slower, but much easier and much safer. So if you're going for this skip, I really recommend you doing this. There's also a tutorial dedicated just to conveyorless, which I will link in the video description, so be sure to check that out. So there are strats you can use with bombs to get rid of the slimes while you take care of others. I have not practiced those, but they exist. They are very minimally fast, and technically you wanted to throw 2 pots on 2 slimes. I just failed this. So now, in the next room is the boss coming up, and the boss, there's actually 2 techniques. I will get rid of this grass just because. There are actually 2 techniques you can fight the boss, which once you fight him with a combination of your dagger hits and just throwing random bombs and hope they hit him, you need 30 hits with your dagger, but only 10 bombs, so it's clear what you want. You want bombs, because you save 20 hits. And there is a glitch in this game in which you can do an infinite bomb glitch. It is a little bit tricky to execute, and there are certain ways in which you can fail the bomb glitch without even doing anything wrong, really. There's also a tutorial dedicated just to the bomb glitch, which I will also link in the description. But basically, to show it off once, you take damage by the bomb. I didn't do that there. There we go, this is what it looks like. And now, as you see, I don't take damage from my own bombs anymore. But you need to take damage once, which is the rather risky part about this. You can also jump to speed up your movement in case the boss gets away. So now, the tricky part about this is, for your first bomb pull, you can't look downwards. Because it won't work, for whatever reason. Next thing is, you can't look twice into the same direction, so if I pull a bomb and look left, for the next bomb pull I have to look right. And for whatever reason, sometimes if you look into a different direction it won't work either. Most of the time if you get hit during this glitch, you can't pull another bomb and you lose the glitch. And it's all a little bit hectic. It is really not beginner friendly. Just to have it shown in the tutorial, this is what it looks like. And the way it works is, for the first bomb pull after you get hit, you press the circle button, which is what you need to pull bombs in this game. But for every bomb after that, you need to hit the square button, and that's the weird thing about it. You press square, which usually is for your dagger, but for this glitch it casts one bomb after another. Also, sprinting in this room, you can keep on sprinting into the next room. Save your wind-up animation for that. Yeah, as I said, for this tutorial, I'm not going to use the infinite bomb glitch myself. I'm just going to fight this boss the normal way I would. Which is just making sure to place the bombs somewhere close to him. He's usually not cooperating all that much. And yeah, this boss is really the first part where the herbs you picked up may come into place. I hope this bomb hits. Yeah, nice. And yeah, as you see, that's why the infinite bomb glitch is very much the strat you want to do once you're going for better times, because this boss likes to avoid bombs when they're just laying around. And there we go, that was already the boss. I think with the infinite bomb glitch you save something like 20 to 30 seconds, I'm not exactly sure anymore. But it's not too much. So if you don't feel comfortable about going for this strat, just don't. It won't matter in the beginning. Also yeah, another thing, while you do the infinite bomb glitch, you can't heal. So you're stuck to whatever health you have at that point. That's what makes it also risky. And if you manage to keep on pulling bombs after getting hit from the golem or one of his boulders, you have even less health, so it might become very, very risky during the fight. And it's very likely to get hit actually from him. So picking up our first magic seed, the Earth Scroll and a life vessel right here, and then he drops another chest which contains the first crest. And that's also a good thing to mention. You get a life vessel here, which is a full heal and increases your health. And this is a mandatory pickup. So you don't need to worry after the fight about your health, you just heal during the fight if you feel uncomfortable with your current health situation. And the boss deals 3 damage on contact, so if you have 4 health, you are fine. So being done with this dungeon, just going to leave and head towards the town again. So although you could go to the left here, it is faster to go down because the way downwards is faster for Alundra to reach the ground and then start his dash. It's a little bit weird how it works there. Going to the left looks definitely faster, but it isn't, I can assure you that. So right now would be the second time we could go into the shop and get our potion, but we already did that. It's just in case if you didn't have the 30 gilder at that point and you have it now. We need to go upstairs here. And this is the first time we don't need to talk to all the NPCs. We need to either talk to this girl or this girl down here. And the girl I talked to first was the one that is faster. Her dialogue saves like, I think for the test it was like half a second. After we talk to all the NPCs except that one girl, we can go down here and trigger this little cutscene, which triggers just some more dialogue. So yeah, it technically doesn't matter all that much for RTA which girl we talk to, but it's half a second, so we want to talk to the girl in the blue dress. Also, rather important for the speedrun is to remember the layout of each room, because it makes it easier to just sprint through them. In this room we also have to talk to every NPC again. Once we talk to the last one, in this case Olin. I think this is Giles. I'm not sure if it's Giles, but he looks like Giles. Appears and then we can enter Olin's stream. It may actually be Lutus. Yeah, it may be Lutus, not Giles. So this dungeon's gimmick is essentially there are dragon statues which, depending on if the orb glows or not, there are blocks that just appear in your way. So you hit that, get rid of the blocks, and then you can continue. So there's a little thing here. You just bonk into this and keep holding left until you land, and then do a short shoulder dash into this direction. What you can do is you can do an item carry jump oops, wrong save state. Around this corner, and I will try to get it here. Yep. If you get it, you just jump down here, and now be careful, you have to push this to the right. If you push it down, you can't jump back up here. If you didn't get this jump, you just land down here, go inside there, and delay your dash a little bit so you don't run into the spike boulder. Be up here, and we are where we would be if we got the jump. It saves like 10-ish seconds. Touch this, get the key, and jump down into that. Now we don't want to hit this dragon statue just yet, because it would block the way of where we needed to go, which is right here. We use our spell, just cast once, and get this key. So now we need to carefully slide along this rock down here in order to make the stairs appear. Go up here. Wait a little bit, because if you're too fast, this spike ball will hit you. Right here, just hit this button, go out again. Now we need to equip our bomb again. Do this jump, throw the bomb down there, and stand right here. Standing right there just places you in a better position in the next room. Depending on where you enter the teleporter, you will stand on a different position in the next room. But we need to get this key. Jump down here. This again. Now, this is technically not needed, but very much recommended, especially for your first runs. Not a life vessel, it is definitely one of the faster ones to grab, since it's right along the way, which most of them are. Now in this room it's slower to sprint out, so we'll just walk. Here, although it is faster to walk to the right, after this cutscene it ends up being faster if you sprint it that way, because you will stand further to the right, triggering this cutscene if you sprint it. It is very minimal though. So, after this cutscene happens, there are going to be some enemies spawning in a spike wall, and they're all on this tiny little bridge, and instead of just dealing with them, you run into the first thing you see, use your iframes, and just dash through all of that. So now, I will not advance this text just yet, so I can explain something. Oh, it advances on its own apparently. I didn't know that. Well, let's just advance it and then go into the menu. So first of all, we don't want to hit Sarah on our own, because it delays her disappearing, saves a couple frames. There are two ways in which you can fight this boss. One is an RNG way, and one is a reliable 2-cycle. Wait, why don't I have my magic elixir? Oh, Did I use it? No? I don't know why I don't have my magic elixir. I thought I bought one. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. What we want to do now is a bomb one-shot Sarah. So we want to place bombs in a specific way, which I'm going to show off in a second. The alternate method is the reliable 2-cycle. We don't use magic on the slime fight, we kill them off with the dagger. And we cast magic on Sarah to hit her once. Then we use our magic elixir and we cast it again, and hitting her twice kills her with magic. That requires an extra 30 gilder, since we definitely need another magic elixir then. So you need 60 gilder in total. And on top of that, it requires you to buy a second magic elixir and use it, so all in all it loses time. But it removes RNG, so it's up to you if you want to do that or not. Now for bombs. There are two patterns in which Sarah can do. This is the first pattern. As you saw, only one orb spawned. There can be either one or all three at once. In this case, once the second orb spawns is when you want to pick up the first bomb. So let's do that. Right there. Avoid them. Place the bomb in the middle. Place one bomb there, one bomb there. And see, she has two patterns now. The first pattern is the which one you saw, which she does the circle pattern. The bomb in the center will do nothing for this pattern. But if she just spawns one Sarah enemy, which is the real one, she usually spawns right in the center and that bomb hits her then. Timing it with the second orb that appears, it will explode right as she appears and hit her. Now, for this pattern, this is why we placed the two bombs on the sides there. There are little lines on the floor in which you can make sure you place the bombs on the same spots every time. The two bombs on the side will make sure to hit some of the Sarah-like enemies on the left and right when she does the circle pattern. And now it's random if we hit real ones or fake ones. But yeah, the bomb in the middle basically makes sure to hit the one pattern, and the ones on the side make sure to hit the other patterns. And now it's luck dependent. We didn't hit any because we got bad RNG here. So what pattern do we get now? We get the same pattern again. Place one here, one there. So she didn't spawn right in the center. That can happen. And I get this pattern again. Whoops, that was bad, I got hit there. Getting only this pattern here. And right there, you saw I hit her right in the center. That made sure to get to kill her right as she spawned. There's another pattern with those orbs, which is all three orbs spawn at once. And if that happens, you want to draw a bomb immediately and then do the bomb placement. Just to show you where you want to place the bombs. I guess I can do that here after the victory fanfare, to not be in the hectic fight mode, and show you rather chill where I need to place the bombs. First bomb you want to place, like, you see this darker line here and this darker line here, basically in this line that goes from bottom to the top here, you want to place it in the middle, just right there. Roughly in this area, and this will usually kill Sarah when she spawns, just one. And the other one's on this line here and on this line here, just roughly in this area, and they usually will hit with the circle pattern then. Sometimes even when she spawns just one and avoids the bomb in the center, which is uncommon, but it can happen. If she swoops around the room, sometimes those bombs on the sides can hit her. And with that, we basically finish this dungeon as well. This fight is actually a little bit tricky for what it is, but it is very consistent in terms of generally you don't get bad RNG, and that's a thing to mention in this game. Even though it is 4.5 hours long, it is an RPG, bosses have RNG. Generally, if there is RNG, the game tends to give you good RNG, in which I think it's safe to say that at least every second or third run you get like first or second try Sarah. And like maybe every let's say 6, 7 or 8 runs, you get something worse than 5 cycle. And that counts for pretty much most of the bosses if they have RNG, which there are not too many where it matters. They usually tend to be nice. Saying that, oh, of course, every enemy basically that moves randomly adds some RNG element to the run, but generally it doesn't really matter. Most of the time we just negate RNG by using consistent strats. Or we reduce the factor of how much the RNG can troll you. So for the next part of this tutorial I will buy a... Oh no, I can do this actually in this part still. Never mind. Just to have it in the tutorial. So we will pick up this flail. And just to have it covered in the tutorial. If you didn't have the 30 gilder up until now because you skipped the gilder chest and relied on the RNG method, this is your last point and where you want to have the 30 gilder. And just go down into the shop. This is the most out of the way the shop will ever be up until now, where you need it. So this is technically the slowest point of where you want to get the magic elixir. But as you saw, it is not far because you need to go up here again. And what we want to do now is, well, I will cut the tutorial here and continue in another part because there's a lot of stuff going to happen now, and I think like roughly 30-minute parts are fine. So thanks for watching and I hope I see you again in the next part. Take care everyone.